Yeah, well, it's, it's one of those, you go back, don't you, with all causal questions. Where do you choose to take the beginning? Generically, the Greek world evolved a polis system, a citizen-state mode of very small, by our standards, inwardly focused, individualized, very strongly self-individuated polities. So you've got, first of all, to have politics in a strong sense, where you contest issues in a framework that's legal, with non-violent means. And the Greeks generally evolved that system in the 8th and 7th centuries. Then, Athens specifically, had a period of terrific upheaval, mainly economic rather than political. In other words, there were lots of poor people in debt, some of whom were actually being sold into slavery abroad. This is an absolute derogation from what it is to be Greek, to be Athenian, to be free. So, real crisis. Along comes he was called an arbitrator, and his name is Solon. And Solon's solution, though it didn't last in all respects forever, it did last for enough time to get the Athenians together to do politics again in a normal, legal, non-violent way, without bloodshed. About 30, 40 years later, after Solon's laws had been enacted and published, that's very important, they were visible in the central marketplace. Again, tensions arose, partly personal this time, factional, if you like, not parties, but factions around leading aristocrats who would have fought each other, and in fact, to some extent did, but one of them emerged triumphant, so a strong man, if you like, a Napoleon, and his name was Pisistratus. Well, the odd thing about Pisistratus, though he was an autocrat, though he had a bodyguard, he enacted, or rather he saw to the operation of Solon's political, economic, and social reforms. And it was that, I think, a period of 20, 30 years of stability on the basis of a law reform of 30, 40 years earlier. So for about 80 years, Athens benefited from this peculiar mix of tyranny, sole rule, and constitutional republicanism. Not democracy, a form of oligarchy. Then, foreign policy plus internal development, enough Athenians thought, we can do this, you know. We don't need these aristocrats ruling, telling us how to behave, what we can and can't do. And there was a kind of popular uprising, and that gave rise to a further bout of reform legislation ascribed to one man called Cleisthenes, who fades away. He may have died immediately, but anyway, he wasn't a Pisistratus. He wasn't in it like Napoleon's code. It wasn't Cleisthenes' code. He actually thought this is probably the best for Athens. And broadly speaking, that is the origins of the Athenian democracy round about 500 BC.